Welcome guys, this is MJ with MBJ Knowledge. If you are new to our channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. To those returning subscribers, we really thank you so much for always supporting, and don't forget to leave a comment in the description, in the comment section below. Okay, so today we have a question in mathematics, that is 2023 internal. Okay, paper 2, question 12. So this question has got two parts. Okay, that is the part on standard deviation, okay, and the part on the graphical. Okay, so the first question talks about calculating standard deviation. So stick around up to the end of this video so that you don't miss out any important concept. Okay, so we'll begin. So the first part, we are calculating the standard deviation. I'm going to give you my method that seems to be effective, but if you're using your own method to calculate standard deviation, there's no problem. We have a variety of ways to find the standard deviation, but I'll teach you my ways. Okay, so the first step, when you look at this information, it's in groups. So since it's in groups, we need to first of all find the midpoints. Okay, that is the first step. So whatever method you're using, you need to first of all find the midpoint. In this case, midpoint represents the x values. So how do we find? We are going to be adding the lower limit plus the upper limit. In this case, in each class, there are two numbers. So you add the two numbers and divide by 2. Okay, so 0 plus 10, the answer will be 10. Divide the 10 by 2, you're going to get 5. Good. So the first value for midpoint is 5. Then second, you're going to add 10 plus 20 here, that is 30. So 30 divided by 2, we have a 15. Okay. Then 20 plus 30, that is a 50. Divided by 2, you're going to have, good, 25. Then 30 plus 40, that is a 70. Then when you divide it by 2, you have a 35. Good. Then 40 plus 50, you get a 90. Okay, divide 90 by 2, you're going to get 45. Then 50 plus 60, that is 110. Then divided by 2, that is 55. Okay, thank you. So now we are done finding the midpoints. Next step is to find the mean. Okay, here's the formula for mean. Okay, so mean will be summation of fx divided by summation of f. When you say summation, means addition. Okay, so in this case, we are going to sum up or add all the values. Okay, once we are done multiplying. So in each class, we have the frequency value and the x value. So we're going to be multiplying those values in that order. Okay, so the first part is 2 multiplied by 5. So put them in brackets like so. So 2 times 5, that is our first bracket. Our second bracket will be 6 multiplied by 15. Okay, then next will be 9 multiplied by 25. Okay, the fourth bracket will be a 7 multiplied by a 35. Okay, the next will be a 4 multiplied by 45. Okay, the next will be a 2 multiplied by 55. As you can see, after a bracket there is a sign for addition. Because of this symbol here, because we need to sum up the values after multiplying. Later on, we're going to divide with the summation of frequency, that is addition of all the frequency values. So when we add the 2 plus 6 plus 9 plus 7 plus 4 plus 2, when we add all these numbers, what do we get? Good, we're getting a 30. Then now, here, we are going to punch everything on the calculator. Don't include the division, but just these things that are on top here. We're going to punch directly on the calculator like this. So now when you punch, you've seen the value that you've gotten. That is 800 and what? 60. Good. 860 divided by 30. We're going to get our final answer for mean as 28.7. That is to 3 significant figures. When we are done calculating the mean, next step in my method, you are going to be drawing this table that you're going to see on the right hand side. This table here will help you now to calculate the standard deviation. So this table will have 2 columns, okay? The first column here will contain the values for frequency. The second column will contain the values for x, and the third column, I'll talk about it in a moment, okay? So the first part we've said frequency, the second column x values. Then do you remember the formula for standard deviation? Good. This is the formula just on the top of that table. You've seen we have summation of frequency, open bracket, x minus x bar, the whole squared, open bracket, divided by summation of frequency. So square root of that. Now, what you need when you are solving, so the last table there, the last column will contain this thing that I'm just marking here. It will contain that. That's all. Okay. So now, we are not going to put anything else apart from just that part. Okay. So here we'll put what we have on the numerator except for the summation. So this is what we're going to have. We have frequency, open bracket, x minus x bar, or close bracket, the whole squared. Okay. Where will this summation go? Okay. So the summation will come at the end. So as you can see, we have 6 data here, but the first column and the last column will be extended. Okay. We need to have sum or addition of all the values that will be contained in the first column and the second column. Okay, so let us now put the values in the table. So in the frequency, our values will be, we have a 2, okay, that's the first number in the frequency. The next number is a 6, the third number is a 9, and then fourth number is a 7, fifth is a 4, then the last one is a 2. Here, we need to sum up. So let us sum up all these values, because on the formula here we have summation of frequency. So summation of frequency will come at the end. That is addition. So add all these numbers, we have a 30. Then let us put the values for x. Remember, these are the values for x or the midpoints. So starting from the first, which is 5, then followed by 15, then 25, next one is 35, the other one is 45, and the last one is 55. Here, don't add the values for x. We don't need the summation of x. Let's go in the next table, in the next column, So here we have f. So you are going to write the values exactly what you are seeing here. So the first part is frequency. What is your frequency value? Is a 2. So you're going to write a 2, open bracket. The next is x. X is what? On the first row. On the second row is a 5. Minus x bar. X bar, this is the mean we calculated here. So 28.7, close bracket, the whole square. So that is how we're going to be writing in the last column. So this is how it is. So we have a 2, open bracket, 5 minus 28.7, close bracket to the power 2 equal to. So next, we are going just to follow the same order. What will change are just the values for frequency and the x, but the mean will still be the same. Okay, so we have a 6 at the beginning, then 15 minus 28.7, close bracket to the power 2. Then next, same things. Okay, so let us keep on writing up to the end. So the next will be that, and then that, then the last one will be this. As you can see, here after the minus, the value is still the same. What is different is just the values for frequency at the beginning and the value for x after the bracket. Okay. Now, after you're done entering all this information, then if you can see here on the far right hand corner of each of these expressions, there's an equal sign, meaning I have to find these values. Again, punch what you're seeing here on the calculator direct, okay, to reduce on time. So you're going to say 2, then you open bracket, 5 minus 28.7, that is on the calculator, close, then to the power 2. Then punch equal sign, like this. Okay, so what do you get? Good, that is in 1123.38. Good. Let us do the same for all these values down here. So I would suggest you also confirm with your calculators. Okay, so the next one for me, it is 1126.14. Then the third one, okay, good, it is 123.21. What do we get on the other one? Good, that is 277.83. Then the other one is 1062.76. Then the last one is 1383.38. Once you're done finding all these values, the last step now is, you've seen here, the summation now. Here on top, we don't have summation, but on the bottom here, there is the symbol for addition, meaning we have to add all these values that we found. So when you sum up all these, so on your calculator, just begin to add all these values. When you add them, what do you get? The final answer is 5096.7. Okay, now when you reach here, it means we are almost done. So we have now the summation of f, and we have the summation of what is on the numerator here. So whatever you've seen this formula here for standard deviation, it means we've done everything on the table. Okay, so the summation of what you have here on the numerator, it is this value here that we are just from finding. Then the summation of what is on the bottom, it is this summation of frequency here. So let us write down here. So we have the square root of 5096.7 divided by 30. Please do not find the square root of these numbers before you divide. So divide. When you divide, what you get? Okay, good. So when you divide, you have 169.89. Here now you can punch what is the square root of this particular number. Okay, and the answer is perfect. That is 13.03418582.037. This is not our final answer. Remember, on the instructions it's saying we need to write our values to 3 significant figures in case our answer is not exact. So here we have 1, 2, 3 on the 0. So we'll strike between a 0 and a 3. Okay, so if you check a 3, it is less than a 5. So we can't get any number. Okay, so the final answer will just be, standard deviation will just be 13.0. Okay, the first part is done. Let us go to the second part of this question, which is a graphical question. They're saying answer this part of the question on a sheet of graph paper. Okay, so using the table below, above, copy and complete the relative cumulative frequency table below, and that is 1 mark. Okay, so completing this table is not difficult at all. Now, how do you complete a relative cumulative frequency table? Have you seen the second row? The second row has cumulative frequency. So all our relative cumulative frequency comes from the cumulative frequency table. So what you're going to do, you're going to get the last number in the cumulative frequency table, which is a 30 in this case. So the second row, you're going to be getting the last number, which is a 30, and you begin to divide all these numbers by a 30. So always in the relative cumulative frequency table, the last number will be equal to 1. As you can see here, it is equal to 1. Reason being, it's because you are dividing with the same number. So you begin to divide. So for them to get a 0 here, they divided a 30 into a 0. That is 0. So all our values have been put to 2 decimal places. So as we are completing our blank spaces, we need to put our values to 2 decimal places in case the values go on and on. Okay. So here when you divided 2 by 30, after rounding off, that is a 0.07. Okay, now for us, our major concentration is on the 17, 24, and the 28. So when we divide 17 by 30, we're going to get, after rounding off, we're going to get 0.57. Okay, then 24 divided by 30, after rounding off, we're going to get 0.80. Okay, then 28 divided by 30, after rounding off, we're going to get 0.93. Okay, so those are our values. Now, you don't write in the question paper. So what you're going to do, this question for completing, it is question 12B, Roman numeral what? 1. And it is 1 mark. So you're going to be redrawing the table on the graph paper. That is on the top right hand corner. Okay, top right hand corner right here. You write your table there. So you indicate the question number, that is B Roman numeral 1. Okay, and then this is my table. Whatever values I've written here, you've seen I've written them down on the table here. So as a marker, they are going to mark here on the graph paper and give you 1 mark for completing the blank spaces. Next is B Roman numeral 2, where we need to align the scale given and also plot the values. So when you look at the table here, you've seen that there are 2 rows, but here we have 3 rows. So it means the second row is not needed. We are plotting a relative. So we are using the X values which are on the first row and the Y values are on the last row. So those are the only values that we need. No wonder you are seeing my table here. It has 2 rows. Okay, next. The scale is saying using a scale of 2 centimeters to represent 10 units on the horizontal axis and 2 centimeters to represent 0.1 units on the vertical axis. For in the X values, the values are starting from 0 to 60. Then in the Y values, the values are starting from 0.0 to 1.0. Okay, so let us align the scale. Here we have, as you can see, my axes are represented by the red line. Okay, so this is my vertical axis or my Y axis. My horizontal or my X axis is here. Let us begin with the X or horizontal axis. They are saying using 2 centimeters to represent 10 units. 2 centimeter, it is this one bigger box. Okay, so from here to here, this is 2 centimeters. So after 2 centimeters, you need to count it as 10. So as we keep on going, we're going to be adding a 10 until we reach on it 60. So this is how it's going to be. So we have a 0, and then that is 10, then 20, 30, 40, 50, and the last one is a 60. Okay, we are done in the X-axis. We are going for Y-axis. So we're starting again from 0. Then they're telling us to say we need to use 0.1 in each and every 2 centimeter box. So as we keep on moving, just like we are adding a 10, now we are going to be adding a 0.1 every time we make a 2 centimeter step that is in the Y-axis. So from 0 to here, this is 0.1. To here, when we add 0.1, that's 0.2. So we'll move in that order. The next is 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, and the last one is 1.0, just like stated on the range. Okay, next now we are going to begin to plot. Okay, so plotting now, it's very important that you pay attention as we plot. So my dots will be represented by a yellow color. So when you see a yellow here, it means that those are my points I'm plotting. So the first one is 0, 0. Okay, 0, 0 will just be here. As you can see, my yellow mark there, 0, 0, that is there. Then the next one is 10, 0.07. Now here, I want you to pay particular attention. Okay, let me just zoom in a bit. So how do you find 0.07 in the y-axis? 10 in the x-axis, it's very easy. This is the 10. So you need to divide 0.1 by 10 lines. Remember, when we want to find a smaller unit, we divide the unit represented in that box by the number of lines in that particular box. So where the 0.1 is, that box is a 2 centimeter box and it has 10 lines. So when we divide 0.1 by 10, we are going to get 0.01. So when I make a step from 0 here to here, that is 0.1, the next is 0.02, 0.03, 0.04, 0. That is how we are going to be moving. So the point that we want to plot is 10, 0.07. It means it is below 0.1. So I'll count 7 lines. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 0.07. So this is where my point is going to be. Okay. So my point will be here. Okay. So we put a point there. Okay. This is a point. Then we're going for 20, 0.27. Okay. 20, 0.27. So 20, 0.27. 0.27 should be above 0.2. So again, we count 7 steps because it's a 0.7. So 0.21, 0.22, 0.23, 0.24, 5, 6, 0.7. So 0.27 will be right here. Okay. Then we proceed. That is 30 0.57. So 0.5757 should be above 0.5. Again, 7 steps. Okay, so we can continue plotting. Then 40, 0.80. So 40,8.0.8, it is just on this particular line. So that is the point here. Okay, then 50, 0.93. So 50, 0.93. 0.93 should be above 0.9. So we count 3 steps. That is 1, 2, 3. That is where our 0.93 is. Okay, then last one is 60,1. I think this one is direct up to here. Once you are done plotting, please do not use a ruler. Under statistics, do not use a ruler. Okay, so what you are going to use is a free hand. So you draw your curve, but do not exaggerate your curve. So my curve will be like this. Okay, I've connected all my points. Okay, next will be to solve now the last question. So up to this far, we have gotten 4 marks. That is on the graph. 1 mark for the table, 3 marks for aligning the scale and plotting and drawing the curve. The next will be the last one. Showing your method clearly, use your graph to estimate the 70th percentile. Use your graph. So we need to estimate the 70th percentile. Percentile means percentage. Okay. So since it is in percentage form, for us to find a value, all our values will come from the x-axis. Okay. Now, first of all, we need to understand to say, for us to remove a value from percentage, it means we need to divide by the maximum. So the maximum percentage is 100. So let us write down. This question is B Roman numeral 2. As you can see, I'm indicating question numbers properly. Okay. So we divide the 70 by 100, removing it in percentage form, times the data set. Now, data set represents the last number in your y values. Please do not use the last number on the y-axis, on the axis. Okay, on this one it's okay because the last number here, it is just as the last number in the table. But there are questions, for instance, for cumulative frequency table, you'd find that the last number here is maybe a 250, but on the scale here, the scale has gone up to 300. You see? So if you get a 300, it means it is wrong. That is why I'm emphasizing to say, always come to your table and get the last number in the table. So our last number in the table, in the y values in this table, is a 1. So the 70 divided by 100 will multiply with a 1. So when we multiply and then divide by 100, what do we get? Good. We're getting a 0.7. This is not the final answer. Most of the students end here. Okay, you are losing marks. This is not the final answer. Remember, we have used the y values. Okay, but what we want is the value to be in the x-axis. So this 0.7 will help us to find the value now. This is what we're going to do. We'll come to the curve. We'll find 0.7. So this is where 0.7 is on my y values. I'm going to draw a dotted line, a straight dotted line to the curve. Okay? Then when I reach on the curve, this is my dotted line to the curve. Do not exceed the curve. When you just reach on the curve, stop. Then drop down now. Okay? So when you drop down, you've seen, you have the value for x down here. Okay? So you even indicate. But before you indicate, let us come down here and check what is the value for x. Now here in the x values, we are using a 10. So when you divide 10 by 10, you have a smaller unit to be 1. So when you make a step from here, a smaller step, that is a 1. So let us count this number here, where this line is coming to, is what number? So this is 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So it means there, you even indicate here nicely to say this is the 70th percentile. Okay, what is the answer we found? Good. So 70th percentile equal to 35. All these answers I'm writing where? On the graph paper. Thank you so much for sticking around up to the end, and thank you for the support. Make sure you comment if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to share with your friends so that it can reach a lot of people. Okay, if you still have some questions, please make sure you drop in the comment section. I'll make sure that I answer or respond to every single question that you're going to write. Okay, thank you very much, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.